Hi, welcome to this EstimatorXpress Getting Started video. In this section we'll be going through the structural opening. I'm going to open the structural opening workbook. And in here I'm going to be using the small opening, 2.4 to 3 meters. As I do not need the other openings, I will zero out their figures. I will then enter the worksheet for small opening. And in here now, I'm straight into a pre-calculated sheet. If I wish to change any of the dimensions on this, I can either type directly into the column, or I can click on the Dimensions wizard. As I run through the Dimensions wizard, I want to change the thickness of the wall that this is being placed into as 0.3. And I'm going to come down to the width of the opening and change this to 2.7. As I run through the rest of the options there, I have a 15 centimeter bearing on the end of the steel. I have options here for pad stones, number of bricks required at each end, number being here as 6, and number of slates required for packing, so in a solid material to level the steel out with. We have options down here for the bulking factor of the spoil. This is at 2, so the volume of the wall coming out times by 2 to allow for enough skip space. And if the wall thickness, if opening is formed to calculate spoil, as we are forming this opening, I want to once again type in the 0.3 dimension, and then I can move on to the next page. This page is dealing with the plastering. There is a note to say that the plastering to the face walls will have to be entered into the plastering workbooks, so that could be complete room plastering, plaster patching if it's just some around the edge that needs doing, or possibly for on the existing side of the building, internal renovation. I have options for the noggin spaces. I shall hit tech tips and tech labels, so these are marked out. I have options for the length of noggins to the stills, are the reveals plastered, number of angle beads required, so that's either no sides, one side or both sides will be requiring angle bead around the opening, and if the reveals are to be painted. Tallying up once again, the small amount of reveal to be painted will be then added to the final tally at the end. Moving on to click Finish, I can now see what has been done in the Resources wizard. I can see here that the lintels, under resource type metalwork, I have RSJs. Giving that a click, I can see that I can select a different steel if required. I have universal beams and columns I can select. If the specification requires something heftier than what is already in there, or a specifically named item or type, then you can change that as required. As I go through, I have options there for the plastering details as well. And finally, the last page is plant. We have to go to the plant drop down here. It's under the labour, plant and subcontract and sundry. But this here will give us the plant for propping structural opening. So we have acro pops. Plant for forming structural opening. Masonry, strong boys there. Plant, so there's wheelbarrows, disc cutters, shovels for their usage as well, and for removing it, the skip. Once I'm happy, I can click Finish, and then I can return to my summary. If I click the summary directly, the job summary, it will take me straight to the summary page, and there I can mark it as completed. To do so, right click, toggle workbook complete. So I know that that workbook is now done. If I do need to return to it, I still can. The completed is just there, so you've got peace of mind as you look at your estimate and see that you've done everything you can in that workbook for now. Thank you for watching this EstimatorXpress video on the structural opening.